should have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. This includes those who are planning to get married. And in fact, it's particularly for this class of people that this message is intended. We said you should not have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, even with the permission of your parents. Wait right here. What I've said might seem like getting slightly ahead of myself. So I'll start from the beginning. And it's in Exodus chapter 20 verse 14. It says, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." This is the seventh commandment of the Decalogue. Jesus gave it real spiritual depth by saying, "Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell." That is Matthew chapter 5 verse 27 to 29. This commandment condemns the impure thought, the scandalous imagination, the unlawful glance, the disgraceful familiarities between the unmarried male and female, which awakens impure thought. It condemns seeing or hearing that which would suggest impure thoughts, dressing improperly so as to stir up shameful thoughts and actions from the opposite sex, and thus by reaction awaken such thoughts and actions upon one's own self. And if it is your right eye that is causing you an offense in these matters, then you'd rather pluck it out than incur moral impurity upon your soul. If it's what you see or read, whether in books or on a screen, that's costing you so dearly, then cut off the seeing and reading, if they ever seemed so essential as your right eye itself, and if the pain was like that in parting with a part of your body. The sacrifice will be worth making if it included the plucking off of your right eye. But thank God you don't have to pluck your eye. The Bible simply makes clear the point that everything that has a basis in moral impurity or that leads to it is decidedly opposed to God. Now Satan has chosen that is going to make moral impurity the special sin of this age. He begins by making the sights and sounds of this evil commonplace, so as to deaden the moral sensibilities of even those who aspire to walk uprightly. By familiarizing the mind with evil, he succeeds in making sure that the keen moral reflexes of the heart are benumbed and the redemptive instincts of the will are palsied. The heart no longer turns from sin or it approaches with disgust. Impurity next makes its first overtures, and because error lacks merit, Satan does not present it in its true character. He mixes it with just enough truth to lend it some credibility. He creates the fake dollar from an existing denomination of the true dollar. God created courtship and marriage as the true dollar. Satan concocted as the counterfeit the dating culture, listen to this, premature emotional explorations, girlfriends and boyfriends. And many are willing to get involved in some of these emotional intense experiences without remonstrances of conscience. Nay, they are willing to defend and countenance them in the name of planning to get married, just having a friend, he or she is my counselor or mentor, and we are not doing anything evil. It's you people who are thinking evil things and judging us, or any argument that would seem to detract from the exceeding sinfulness of sin. In God's world, there is such a thing as male and female, and many of the familiarities between male and female that we see in the world today are nothing but downright wickedness. Many young men and women barely from the cradle, are deeply involved in emotional, intense relationships in the name of planning to get married several years later. The self-deception that the sinful relationship is meant to end up in marriage is exactly what sin and Satan suggest in order to bury the developmental and precious years of youth in deceitful lust. The Bible names them deceitful lusts because they will seek excuse in anything in order to be allowed room to assert their tyrannical power upon the soul. Back to the basics. The dictionary defines a boyfriend as the male partner in an unmarried romantic relationship, and a girlfriend as a female partner in an unmarried romantic relationship. A date is defined as a romantic meeting or outing with a lover or potential lover, or the person so met. All these definitions are taken directly from a reputable dictionary. You can confirm from yours. Now, they are honest souls that while they have boyfriends or girlfriends, hope that they can retain these kinds of relationships, both in name and nature, without being involved in the same scandalous practices that define them. They take the first steps in all perfect honesty, while seeking to manage the relationship the same way people around them manage theirs. It begins with rather guarded calls, meetings, and messages. The familiarity becomes deeper. The meaningless meetings, messages, and calls begin to be desired with some emotional intensity and even craved. More liberties are taken in word and deed. When the conscience offers remonstrance, it is silenced by the reasoning that this is my future partner. All the moral barriers that the Seventh Commandment interposes between the soul and self-ruin are torn down by the heat of inflamed passions, and the two deluded souls do not know where to stop. They take fire upon their bosoms, but in ignorant honesty, hope not to be burnt. The good book gives warning. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good, listen to this, and acceptable and perfect will of God. That is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. What then? We affirm that the best preparation for the married state is the single state. The young who are in a romantic relationship the whole day long, right from the cradle, disorder their affections and make their minds too fickle to endure the discipline of the married state. They are up to exploration, while marriage is for commitment. They bury the otherwise most useful period of their lives in emotional turmoil. They pierce themselves through with heartache borrowed from the responsibilities of the married state. They place their young shoulders under burdens that were rather avoided, and leave unattended the most urgent work of self-improvement and preparation for the responsibilities of adulthood and marriage. They rob themselves of the blissful privilege of being single, and crowd out the very peace of youth with the noise and clamor of lovesick sentimentalism. They invest time, listen to this, nerve energy, emotion, and even money that they have most likely not earned upon persons that have no legal or matrimonial commitment to them. They have a mental disorder called lust, and Satan would gladly bury their glorious future and destiny upon this pit. Let no young man or woman yield their affections to the other sex until they decide and know that they want to marry. Marriage is serious business. It's not emotional exploration. And even when they do yield their affections, let them remember that the Christian courtship is a completely different matter from the dating culture of the world. It's a holy enterprise upon which a true Christian will be glad to invite the company of holy angels and of Jesus. No familiarities or liberties should be entertained that should wait for the marriage state. A true Christian will do nothing that will not bear scrutiny. The emotionally heated setting for worldly dating is the best way to get a wrong partner. Wild emotions will tend to benumb the calm voice of reason and drown down conscience. It is an impassioned judgment that can detect the still, small voice. You want to hear the voice of God? Never be involved emotionally with the person you intend to marry. And by this, we don't mean to be understood that you marry a person that you do not love, for that will be sin. We are only saying that it will be more beautiful in marriage if it was postponed during courtship. And the best way to enjoy your marriage is by not looking back. No one should have a girlfriend or boyfriend. Thanks for being around to the end. We hope it was a blessing. We suggest that your continued presence will be a blessing to you and to us. We also think it will be a good idea to share this video if it was a blessing to you. Ubarikiwe sana.